And Mashaile, strategy and security advisor, as well as a retired Interpol ambassador. Good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. Did the story take you by surprise?
No, this story is not taking me by surprise, and did not take me by surprise. Reason being, in the first instance, when that group, the first group, was found or discovered, and law enforcement went in to do investigations, I had expected more people in that area. Reason being, that first group would obviously have been trafficked by some individuals or a syndicate, and that syndicate would not have trafficked the first group only. There's a sizable number of groups that might be in the country as a result of the traffickers, human traffickers, who promise people jobs in South Africa.
And when you look at the fact that right now, this is not the first case that we're seeing in this area. There was, of course, that case last year where Calvin Dludla, my colleague, was there, and it was in Sandringham, and there were also concerns even about a number of areas around that area. What does this tell us about the law enforcement in particular, as well as for them to be able to move freely and enter into the country?
Ausbongi, what I would have done, given the first grouping that was discovered and processed, I would have deployed intelligence or individuals who would be from intelligence, who would be gathering information. I would have deployed them there for the next 24 hours, for the next 24 months. Reason being, if that huge first group, that number of 34, I think the first group was 34, it means there might be a possibility of some other groupings. That to me would be a hotspot, and I would ensure that for the next 24 months, it would be easier for me to pick up things that are happening on that area. The second thing that I would have done, Bongi, I would have looked at property or real estate agents and find out the houses that are empty, standing empty, and also find out the houses that are being sold to individuals. It would indicate to me, I would be knowing by now where those people have been found, those teenagers that have been found. I would have known by now who the owner is and when and where did he purchase and how was it paid for that individual to be able to own that property.
Do you think police would be able to do that now, given some of the challenges that we've seen with intelligence over time?
I would say the police have an obligation and a responsibility to do so, given their constitutional mandate, and also joining forces with members of the community in and around that area, even if it means hiding who I am, going there to hire back rooms there with a few friends of mine around the area so that we can be able to collect information on a daily basis. I think SAPS or law enforcement agencies can do better with the advices and strategies and tactics that a lot of people, including myself, are sharing with them, as some of us do speak now.
And as we speak, right, in your view, what makes it so easy for these people to carry out these acts? And especially you think about the fact that we saw the 40 Ethiopian nationals who were found at a house in Baklu at some point, and then there was Sandringham, and now we're back here again. We're seeing these are just 3 cases of a number of cases that have been reported in. What makes it so easy for them to get access into the country in your view?
Tarama, these individuals are owned by very well organized transnational organized crime syndicates. These syndicates have a lot of money. For your information, human trafficking happens to be the second largest crime in the world after cybercrime. And you would know, Ausbonge, that these individuals would be joining forces with many other syndicates, arms trafficking syndicates, cybercrime syndicates. So those syndicates would have a lot of money to pay people off at the borders, to buy people in the neighboring SADC countries, so that wherever they come from, their aeroplanes would land in and around the SADC areas here, and they would find themselves in a bus or in a combi coming to South Africa, where they would find refuge that's already been well paid off by these syndicates.
It sounds like then, in order to be able to clamp down on what we're seeing happening, that there might be an approach that's needed to go beyond South Africa's borders for possibly the counterparts of South Africa. You think about the police ministry, you think about, you know, the NPA and all of that. There might now need to be an approach by the continent in order to be able to try and deal with this, if what you're saying is anything to go by.
Ausbong, I just spoke about a few hours on. I just spoke about the 7 countries that joined forces with the arrest of the cybercrime gangs and the 40 people that were arrested here. And from that logic, when these SADC countries and the continent come together, join forces, and Interpol begins to identify a huge outflow from Somalia, from Ethiopia, from many other countries, they would be able to see the people who are flowing out of their countries. And now this is Interpol working with the local central bureaus in these 54 states of our continent. We would know, we meaning the rest of Africa would know where the huge number comes from and where that huge number is going to. And we would be operating from a joint specialized operation that deals with human trafficking. We would allow them to let the people flow from that area and arrest them midway or arrest them when they arrive here, so that we can be able to do the tracing of the trail, so that you know who is involved from Ethiopia to the next country, to the next country, until to South Africa. We would be able to smash the syndicates in that pattern and disrupt the modus operandi.
And you speak about the different countries. So in the work that you've done, are you finding that South Africa is, according to some of the reports, they would suggest, you know, that would be compiled, that South Africa may just be one of the countries where they stop over and are simply shipped to another country. So in the work that you've done, can you confirm that this is indeed the case, that they stop in South Africa and are moved to other countries, or do they end up here?
With the work, the research that I have done, with the focus that I focused in on human trafficking and many other crimes, but specifically human trafficking, South Africa, yes, it is indeed a stopover. It is also part of the land of milk and honey for these syndicates to sell these individuals to rural farming communities, for sexual slavery or for sexual purposes, and for many other crimes that you have seen. For an example, Ausbongi, the blind people that you see at the robots, be it the Winnie Mandela Road or formerly William Nicol Road, the people that you give money to are owned by slave masters. Those people are modern day slaves that get dropped off there, that gets collected, that gets brought into South Africa from outside of South Africa. So yes, South Africa, it is the land of milk and honey for the syndicate, also as a transit point to other parts of the world, like your Eastern Europe, like India, amongst others.
All right, let me thank you for your time. And certainly, as you say, a lot of focus now needs to go towards the syndicates and what officials are able to gather as far as information is concerned. But thank you for your time this evening. That was Mashaile, Strategy and Security Advisor, as well as a retired Interpol ambassador.